Hi folks, Josh again. This is the 11th video in our GIS overview series. This will be the first video in which we are actually going to be using the Tools tab. But before I do that, I want to have some information up on my map. So I'm going to go through, we're again back at Arlington Echo. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit more so that we can actually see the WSA trailer. I'm going to turn on our parcels layer. I'm going to turn on the terrain data layer. And what else do I want to turn on here? I'm also going to turn on the urban features layer, and specifically the impervious surfaces, so that we can kind of get an idea of, and a look of what's going on here. So when you start to have more than one layer on, sometimes it gets to be a little bit messy, especially with the ortho photo in the background. And the ortho photo is really the satellite picture that's superimposed on all of this. And you can actually turn that layer off if you want a bit of a cleaner background to look at by scrolling all the way down. And the last guy here, the last thing that always is toggled when you start this is Ortho 2018. So if I turn that off, that's a little bit easier to read. Ortho is actually really helpful to have on if you're trying to determine different landscape coverages such as canopy or maybe lawn versus planting areas. But for the purposes of this, I think I'm actually going to leave it on so that I can show you how to measure some things. So now that we have the map set, I'm going to now go from the map tab to the tools tab. And the first thing that I want to show you here is that there's a couple different options. You have print and export, which we'll talk about in a later video. You have a measure function here, you have a draw function here, and you have plot coordinates. What we're going to work on in this video is measuring. So I am actually going to try to measure the distance across this parking circle from here to here. So what I want to use is line under measure. So I click that, and you know that your tools are ready to use when they turn blue and grow a little triangle on the right-hand side. I don't know if you can see that very well in this video, but I think you'll see that when you're actually using this. So I've selected that. It's blue with the triangle, meaning that it's ready. And then it also says across the top of the map here, click or tap to draw a measurement line, and then double click or tap to finish. So again, I want to measure the distance from one side of the parking circle to the other. And you'll notice when I click on the map now, I kind of get what I like to call a spider web here, and it kind of follows your mouse. So again, I just want to measure straight across. I'm going to double click. Okay, I'm going to click to finish the line, and you'll see that the actual length of that line shows up as 57.15 feet. So if I were to want to measure the distance of this driveway, I can do that again. So I'm selecting line, and I'm just going to go from the start here to the parking circle, and that's about 266.57 feet. So the next thing that I want to show you is how to measure area, and there's a couple different options. So you'll notice when you're in the measure area, there's a drop down beside line, and if you look at all of these guys, it'll give you a lot of different options. One, you'll typically probably use line the most. You may also use polygon, which gives you a little bit more of a shape. And we're going to measure the size of the WSA trailer. So again, you have the yellow guy across the top saying click or tap to draw a multi-sided shape and find the area, and then double click or tap to finish. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and I'm going to try to click around and just trace. And you can see I have the spider web again. I'm just tracing the corners of the WSA trailer here. As you're doing this, it's also giving you the lengths of the sides of your shape. And then I'm just going back to the end here, and it pops off a little reading here. It tells us that the square footage of that area is about 976 square feet, and then that total perimeter is about 142.84 feet. Now, those measurements are now kind of on our map here. And to get rid of those, especially if you now want to kind of draw on your map, you go up to edit, and you have a couple options here. You can clear all, or you can use the erase tool. And the erase tool works a lot like identify, in that you can kind of select the pieces that you want to have erased off the map. You can also use clear. So if you click on clear, it'll give you a warning here. If you proceed, all current drawings will be permanently erased. Continue. For this video, we're going to say yes. So that cleared up all the other measurement drawings that I've made in this video. So with that, finishes this video.